This is Python's Paradise. This is your host, Greg Gilbert, aka the Python Hyena, straight out of Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada, here on Mother's Day, May the 8th, 2022. And folks, I just got done pretty much 3 back-to-back shifts of work at the hospital. But I'm being rewarded for it right now, not just with a good paycheck, but let's just put it this way. I was pitched by Lynn Griffin and Sean Sullivan, the Slaughter Brothers Dime Circus. And I took a look at that poster and I said to Sean, I said, "Who's the gorgeous woman there on the poster?" I said, "Who is that?" And he said, "Silvae, Mercedes." I'm like, "Really?" I said, "I want to talk to her."
And Greg always gets what Greg wants.
Well, I try. I try. Folks, I give you the very lovely, very beautiful, and very Toronto based where I would love to be right now. Silvae, Mercedes. How do you do, Silvae?
I'm great, Greg. Thanks so much for having me.
Yes, I love your background. That's very artsy.
Oh, yes, thank you. That was our first COVID project, was repainting the bedroom. I did that in the first 2 weeks of COVID, and we only had odds and ends at the house, so it ended up being more like living inside of a Van Gogh painting a little bit.
Here you go. What made you think of that?
Painting? I think it was just a lack of anything else to do in the first couple of weeks of COVID.
Yeah, but I mean the way you designed it back there, like you got a lot of blues and a lot of whites.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was kind of my roommate had done like a patch test on one wall,
Mm-hmm.
and then I just loved the way that it looked, so we'd hidden it behind like a bookshelf, and then I just loved the way that it looked, so we just kept doing it, like patterning in the same way that the original patch test had been. And then it became this kind of like, I don't know, kind of like waterfall or like icicle palace kind of effect.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, you know what? I told Sean Sullivan that I would help promote the Slaughter Brothers Dime Circus, which you've been trying to get the off the ground for a while now. But before we get into that in detail, I would like a little bit of your background and how you got into the arts.
Sure. I was born and raised on a goat farm in the backwoods of New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm.
And my parents met doing a community theater Shakespeare production. So when I was born, my birth announcement was actually modeled on a playbill. I never had a chance. And I started in the theater, community theater, when I was about 4.5. And then from there, I did a lot of summer arts camps. My senior year of high school, I attended the Interlochen Arts Academy in Michigan. And then from there, I ended up going to the backwoods of Illinois, well, the cornfields of Illinois for a little bit, and then to New York City, where
Mm-hmm.
I did a certificate in musical theater. And then I met a guy on a fire escape in Harlem who was Canadian, and he got deported back to Canada. So I moved to Canada for him, and then ended up pitching him, but I liked Canada so much I stayed.
Well, yeah, of
Obviously.
course. Of course. That's
Yep.
cool Canadians. I mean, Donald Trump, I don't think likes us, but yeah, that's all right.
Well, I'm not such a fan of Donald Trump, so it works out perfectly for me.
There you go. Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm very happy to be living in Canada, and I met Sean Sullivan and Lynn Griffin in the theater scene in Toronto, and
hmm
one of the best things that ever happened to me, for sure.
Well, how I come to meet them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I started the podcast here in 2015, and one of the people I had on my show was a Canadian actress out of Toronto named Lisa Langlois. And when I had her on my show twice, the second time she was on, we got talking about travel because I've lived here in New Brunswick all my life. Never traveled outside maybe Prince Edward Island. I've never gone anywhere.
I mean,
And
but why would you want to leave Prince Edward Island? That place is beautiful. Like, you don't
yeah,
need anything
well,
else, do you?
I live in Fredericton, New Brunswick, and I'd go to Moncton or St. John, and I'd get homesick, and I just didn't had no desire to travel.
Hmm.
And but Lisa made the if I may quote The Godfather, she made me an offer I couldn't refuse. She invited me to assist her at Horrorama in Toronto, and I could not say no. So it was my first time on a plane, and strangely enough, I landed in Toronto, and I didn't want to come home. How is that for something strange? I get homesick going to cities that are nearby me. Go to Toronto, and I didn't want to come home. I had such a great time there. Lisa's become a dear friend, and during that first trip, that was in 2017, I had Lynn and Sean on my show, both once solo each, and once, actually twice together. And I remember that first time I went, I was there for a week, and Lynn, I guess, had got in touch with Lisa and asked when I was leaving because they were at Horror Hound in Chicago that week. That weekend, I was doing Horrorama, and Lisa told them that I was leaving at such and such a date, so they were going to be back. So we arranged to meet them at, I think it was a Starving Artist restaurant.
Oh yeah, that's a
Yeah,
great place.
yeah, I enjoyed that. So I met them, and they had a bunch of stuff signed for me there, and I got Lynn to sign my Black Christmas Blu-ray and my Curtains Blu-ray and Strange Brew, and I got Sean to sign 54 and Wayne's World, and
Yep.
stuff like that. I didn't have Ski Patrol, but I remember him well in it. But that was how we met.
Hmm.
So that was a lot of fun. And so Sean pitched this project to me, this play. Yep. And asked me if I'd help promote it. And I said, sure, absolutely.
And we're
Although,
very grateful.
yeah, although I did ask him who the lovely woman on the poster was.
Making me blush.
There you go. There you go. But nonetheless, are you based in Toronto?
I am for the most part. When COVID hit, I decided to go back to school part time.
What grade?
Um, hmm?
What grade?
uh, no, you're not wrong. Actually, I mean, I never really finished my bachelor's. I've had like 3 half-finished bachelor degrees over the course of my life. So hopefully, like this is the time. So I'm a freshman. Well, now I'm sophomore, moving up in
I
the
thought you
world.
were a fresh woman.
I'm a fresh person. Um, yeah, so I have been based in Montreal off and on for the last year.
Mm-hmm.
Going to Concordia University for honors English and creative writing with a minor in interdisciplinary sexuality studies. So, bunch of
Okay.
long words, bunch of theory.
What are your theories on Sean Lynn?
Um, Comedy geniuses, first of all. Um, Second of all, deathly charming, both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a 1-2 sucker punch with them. Like it just, between the comedy and the smarts. Oh my gosh, they're both so smart and so talented. Like being on stage with them is like being in a race car high on cocaine with like a passel of clown mime geniuses in the back seat. Like it's I never know where we're going to end up and I love every second of it.
Speaking of which, there's something I got in the mail from Lynn because she was involved in the Black Christmas fan film. It's Me, Billy. Dave McCrae made it, and I got one of these from her.
Oh yeah, we got one too. Yeah. Aren't they great? And her artwork is just staggering too. Have you seen her art?
No.
She does these amazing Frida Kahlo inspired collages.
Oh, okay. I know what those are. Yes. I'm
Hmm.
thinking an awful lot about her cats because I know there's a lot of pictures of those online.
There are. I've cat sit for them once or twice, and I
Yeah.
cannot remember all their names.
Yeah.
They're very sweet, but every time I go over, I swear there's like 4 more cats, and I can't keep track of them all. They're so cute.
Yeah. I got to admit, I love Toronto. And I'm glad I got this job at the hospital because I'm finally able to put some money away. And because there's a possibility I just might want to have a permanent residence there. I love Toronto. Everybody thinks I'm crazy to even want to live there, but
Well, I mean, why? I guess Toronto has a bit of a bad rap outside of the city.
well, here's the thing. Lisa taught me well on the subways and streetcars, and I mean the theater experiences are nice there. I could see old movies playing there, and actually, Lisa was in Class of 1984. That's the Canadian movie she was in. Last time I was there was in 2019. Actually, no, I was there last year, but 2019. I was there the end of November and into December, and there was a double screening of White and Black Christmas.
Do you remember what cinema it was at?
I think it was the Royale.
Oh,
Yeah, I like the
cool.
and I called Lisa. I said, "Do you want to join me for them?" She wasn't in the mood for White Christmas, but she did want to see Black Christmas because she knew a lot of people in it.
I love that pairing so good.
Yeah. White Christmas had its audience, but Black Christmas was packed.
I believe you.
Oh yeah. And Lisa joined me, and the only question she had at the end of it was, "I wonder if Art Hindle still has that coat." And she gave him a call, and apparently he still has it.
You're kidding.
Yeah, I gotta get him on here at some point. I haven't had him on here yet. But but yeah, we went there and watched Ling Griffin play Baghead and
Hmm.
all that stuff, and Margot Kidder be really funny when she's drunk. All that fun stuff.
That must have been brilliant on the big screen too. I've never seen it in a theater.
Well, that's one of the things I love about Toronto was that there's a platform where you can see older movies because I love seeing older movies at the theater anytime I get the chance.
Yeah, the Review Cinema in Roncesvalles, which is where
Hmm.
I'm located in the city. They do all sorts of screenings there. They have like black and white, like silent picture screenings and things. It's so cool.
That's a nice cat behind you.
Oh, my dog.
That's a really nice kitty cat.
Come here, Kitsu. Actually, so her name is Kitsune, which means fox in Japanese. But
Yeah.
apparently, I call her Kitsu a lot, and apparently, Kitsu in Ukrainian means kitten. And so I was talking to her on the street one day, and this woman was standing there, and she just like bust out laughing. Like I had no idea. I don't speak Ukrainian, obviously, but so I'm wandering around the streets of Roncesvalles, and half the people in the area are like, "Why is that crazy lady calling her dog cat?" You want to say hi? There we go. Now you're famous.
When my cat gets around here close, I'll put him on here.
What kind of cat do you have?
I have a black and white one.
Oh,
Just a minute. I'm gonna get him. Just a minute.
please.
Yeah.
It's animal show and tell time. I love
Here
it.
we are. It's a
Oh,
Skittles.
hi, Skittles.
Skittles does
Oh,
not look impressed.
no, he looks murderous, and I love it.
Yeah, but he puts the pussy in Pussycat. He's such a wuss. He's such a
Oh.
wuss. He says, you're using me for hits and likes and views. And I'm like, you're staying here for free. You know,
That's what cats are good for.
Kitty, he doesn't even kill the insects. Sits there and watches them.
He's a lover, not a fighter. That's all right, Skittles. You and me, we got that in common. It's all good. You just do you, buddy. The look on his face.
Skittles, you lazy? Are you a lazy kitty?
Oh,
Skittles is lazy.
buddy. I'm done.
Like, I'm done. But he's back rubbing against my finger. I just have to stick my pinky finger out when you come back and rubs against it. Yeah.
May
But
I ask, do you also have snakes?
oh, you noticed my name,
I sure did.
the Python.
Mm-hmm.
I do not currently have a snake. My nephew's got two though.
What
He's got
kinds?
he's got a ball python and a boa constrictor.
Oh, pretty babies.
Yeah. I have handled a 10-foot Burmese python. That thing was heavy.
I believe you. Where did you
Yeah.
do that?
It was at when the Frex was here in Fredericton. This would have been when I was in high school or just after I graduated, one or the other. And they had an exhibit there, and I had to have my picture taken with that big thing.
Of
Because I
course.
was, yep, because I was like, I want that thing over my shoulders, over the back of my neck, just like Jake the Snake Roberts. And
Gorgeous.
yep. And that thing did not want to stay in the picture with me. He knew where his cage was, and he kept trying to crawl in it, but I kind of kept his head in there. And yeah,
Do you still have the photo somewhere?
yeah, it's on my Facebook page.
There you go.
Oh
I'll have to
yeah.
look you up. I'm not really on Facebook very often, but
Why?
I'll go on Facebook to see that photo for sure.
Add me.
Okay.
Yeah, add me.
I'm hardly ever on there, so
Why?
Instagram is always. I just prefer Instagram as a platform for some reason.
I go on Instagram just to reach out to guests for my show, because with Facebook I could put my links for my interviews on there, and people can click them and listen to them. I can't really do that with Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I like people to listen to my interviews when I have them done, so
I mean, it's nice. Yeah.
I mean, I have a YouTube channel, so that's where they eventually go. And yeah, so anyway, yeah, I've had Sean and Lynn on here 2 or 3 times, and So yeah, we got to talk about though the Slaughter Brothers Dime Circus, because I've seen the ads for it. I've seen the videos. I've seen the little red noses. I forget what I ordered for a package on that. I made a contribution anyway.
Thank
But
you. That's very kind.
yeah. So talk about your part in this play.
Okay.
Mhm.
Spoilers, no spoilers, I guess.
Whatever you want to do, however you want to go.
uh well, I first became attached to the project. I was actually at the first kind of reading, like over 5 years ago, I guess, at this point.
Hmm.
Um and I just lucked out basically, and was able to. They needed someone to slot in for the woman. I don't believe she had a name at the beginning, at the very beginning. I think it was just the man and the woman and the Sean, basically. um, and then, yeah, I was so lucky because I got in kind of at the very beginning when Sean was still kind of, the project was evolving. I've really been able to be a part of the evolution of the project. And Penny, my character, has changed enormously from that first iteration, and it's been so rewarding. I mean, she's a snake charmer now, which I totally love.
Oh, I like that.
Yep. So that's her job in the Dime Circus. Is she's the snake charmer, her and her snake Stanley.
You're charming me.
Aw, well, I try. Um,
Do you have a snake in the play?
I I have a rubber snake, or I did at one point. We'll see what happens in the new iteration. I feel like every time that, we take a step forward,
How
it
do
kind of
you charm a
grows.
rubber snake?
Well, I've got my ways. um, yeah, and I became very attached to my rubber snake. I wish I could have a real one, but I would probably honestly not be able to concentrate on the show. I would just be in love with the snake. So just wandering around being like, this is so, look at this, so cool. I actually, complete side note, but during COVID, in the spring, I was staying with my partner's family out. They have a farm outside of Stratford, and I ended up, there was a corn snake that actually ended up on my bedside table, because it's a converted basement, and I guess it had like just woken up and was really sleepy and was like crawling down the rack on my side table, and we got to like hang out with it and play with, I mean, not aggressively play with it, but I got some really nice pictures and we made friends before we set it free.
Corn snakes are stunning.
It was beautiful,
I didn't know
beautiful.
we had corn snakes here.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was. We looked it up online.
So it was kind of a yellow orange with orangey red blotches.
Yeah, it was, the blotches were darker. It was
Yeah.
more like a brownish orange, but yeah,
Wow.
it was so cool. So maybe I may have misidentified the snake. I'll have to go back and double check actually that I told you that correctly.
Well, corn snakes are a variation of rat snake,
Mhm.
So yeah, there's some interesting species of snake. I'm not here in New Brunswick. We got garter snakes here and red-bellied snakes, but that's about it. But in your neck, you guys may have rat snakes, corn snakes, king snakes.
Mhm.
King snakes are immune to venom, which makes them pretty cool.
I didn't
Uh,
know that. That is really cool.
yeah, they hunt rattlesnake.
Badasses.
Yep, yep, yep. Yeah,
I think I derailed us from talking about Slaughter Brothers, which is a great project that I do want to talk
Well,
about.
you are a snake charmer, so I
I
can't
am.
help but bring that up. But yeah, um, it's pretty interesting to wake up and there's a corn snake. Corn snakes, of course, are harmless. So, but nonetheless, um,
It was such a cool experience. Um, so I mean, I suppose I could have, but I wouldn't want to keep a wild snake. You know, they need to roam free. Um, but I would love it if in some iteration of Slaughter Brothers I did have an actual snake, because that would just like make my life, like my acting partner, the snake. So throughout the course of Slaughter Brothers, Penny starts out kind of in more of a subservient role, and then throughout the course of the show is pulled into um, a magical scheme by Sean's character, um, and ends up going through not only a personal evolution as far as her character, but a physical one where she turns into a giant bug lady. And and then we have all of these like amazing kind of special effects that happen, and the as the world breaks down, like basically burns the world down around her. So it's very fun being able to play like the kind of like wilting flower character, and then to have that evolution into basically kind of an anti-hero character by the end.
well, how do you go from snake charmer to bug?
There's a lot of physical work that goes into it.
Yeah, but why wouldn't he transform me into a snake?
Well, it's because the man who's kind of the villain in the world, who's the boss guy of
Mm-hmm.
the circus, he's a bit of a baddie. He's kind of lecherous and towards my character Penny, and so in order to kind of get back at him, um, Sean's character basically grants him the ability to fly. But with the ability to fly, he becomes kind of a bug creature, which then awakens something very dark and twisted inside of me. And there's a bug mating dance that we do in the show. It's very demanding physically, and I've never done anything like it in my life. Like singing, because I went to school for musical theater and I've done musical theater, but this is not your average musical theater production. This is like musical theater through a funhouse mirror with a bit of Cronenberg and some Bugs Bunny kind of all mushed in there together, and mime. It's just,
You go get up and give us a practical demonstration?
I mean, you just have to come see the show, honey. I can't give it all away.
I'd love to, I'd love to. Um, anyway, talk about of course Sean's is the headmaster. And Lynn Griffin, of course, apparently plays a clown that doesn't speak.
Oh, Daphne talks. She just speaks her own particular kind of language. It's hysterical and also really dark in certain spaces. Like, I've never seen clown done the way that Lynn does it. It's phenomenal. Like, she's endearing and hysterically funny and also kind of creepy all at the same time. It's a symphony of awesome is what it is. And so she does all of her talking in kind of this gibberish language throughout the course of the show. And it's a running gag, and it's amazing. I don't know how she doesn't talk gibberish when she comes off stage. Like, sometimes like we'll turn to each other backstage and we'll just like, we're here now. What did you say? Like, and I get it, and then we go off and do whatever.
So, is this the most challenging acting role you've done?
I would say it's definitely in the top 5 for sure. I've done other roles that were challenging kind of emotionally, like inside of a more kind of realistic, um, kind of epic storyline that's a little more rooted inside of like an inner pathos, but there is so much emotional stakes inside of the show, and there's physical work, and I'm singing like you saw the trailer video for Lighter Than Air, where I do that huge slide at the end that's like 2 octaves. I'm just like engaging operatic kind of muscles while I'm also in like weird bug physicality. And yeah, it's I just haven't done it yet. I'm sure you asked me that at the end of the run and I will probably say yes for sure. um but I haven't gotten there yet, so I can't know for sure until it's up on its feet and running.
Sing for us now.
What would you like me to sing?
Well, you know what? In 2 months, I'm going to turn 50.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Greg. Happy birthday to you.
Boy, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
Holy cow, you got a voice.
Thank you very much. It does. I do open my mouth from time to time, and something comes out. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to turn 50 this year. I'm old.
Nah.
I'm old. Are you
Congratulations.
kidding me? The other night, I walked past a cemetery and 2 guys ran after me with shovels. Yeah, I'm that half a century in July.
Lucky though, I mean, a lot of people don't make it that far, right? Like, that's the
Mm,
way I look at it. Every day that every day you stick around is like an opportunity to bliss out, basically.
there you go.
And I
So
mean,
what?
I know that you have like a very demanding job from the sounds of it. It's physically demanding probably and emotionally, like working in a hospital is really, really draining. Um, but what do you do to like you do build yourself up like when you're not at work? Like how do you I mean, you do this.
Yeah. Um, you know what? It's been actually a relief to get this job because I worked for our family spring water plant for 19 years. And then my folks both got terminally ill, so they had to sell the plant. So during that time, that was when Lisa invited me to Toronto.
Mhm.
And when I got back, I mean, I could have been on unemployment for a year, but I kind of wanted to go back to Toronto again. So I wanted to get a job.
Mhm.
So I took some cleaning jobs, and I discovered that the night staff at Tim Hortons got paid more than any cleaning job I had, which I found nothing against Tim Hortons, but I found it bizarre
Hmm.
how little respect cleaners have.
Yep.
And we had people quit at my previous job because they were only getting $13 an hour. You can't live off that.
Yeah.
I was using one paycheck to pay my rent. My next paycheck goes towards bills, plus I'd have to go into my savings. You can't live like that. So I was I witnessed twice 2 people who were supposed to be trained quit before they come in and train because they couldn't live on $13 an hour. So I was helping my supervisor in one of the buildings, and I was just making small talk with one of the workers in there that was familiar with me, and he says, "Well, I got connections to Tim Hortons if you want to work there at night. But what you really want is to work in the hospital because you'll get paid a lot more and a lot better."
Mhm.
And yeah, I'm finally able to put some money away. And so I've been there for almost 2 months, and I find I'm treated with a lot more dignity, I find. So
I'm
I like it.
yeah. Well, I'm really glad that it panned out for you. I mean, you should be treated with dignity no matter what job you're doing, right? Like, and cleaning especially is so central to keeping any place going, right? Like, it's it's mind-blowing to me the fact that people aren't treated like people a lot of the time, and especially in occupations like cleaning, when they're the people that keep everything going. And like, in hotels and things like that, like they're the reason that we're able to live in the world in general, right? And that we're not all getting sick all the time. And especially at a hospital, you're disposing of like hazardous waste, and like you're not only supporting people, by like your coworkers, but you're taking care of the people who are there having surgeries and things like that. Like, being in a clean space is necessary towards feeling safe and whole, I think, as a person.
Yeah, but when I come home here, Skittles does not clean. Skittles does not keep the apartment clean.
I mean, have you tried putting sponges on Skittles' paws?
I might have to do that. I
Maybe
might have
Skittles
to
just
do
hasn't
that.
been given the opportunity to really shine as a cleaner.
You know what he likes to do? When I'm asleep, I'll feel the vibration on my bed as he jumps on it.
Hmm.
He'll jump over my shins and he'll come up and he'll gawk right in my face. And I'm like, Skittles, your uptime and my uptime are two very different things. Yeah.
I mean, what do you need an alarm clock for, though? You got Skittles.
Oh yeah, except that he likes to wake me up when I'm not supposed to. Yeah, but nonetheless, yeah, I'm glad I got this job, and I'm thinking if I play my cards right, if I decide I want to transfer to Toronto, I think I might be able to pull that off. I've been
Hey, I
thinking
mean,
strongly about that too because I love Toronto.
really? That's so
Mm,
exciting.
yep,
What a huge thing that would be for you. Wow.
yep.
Turn 50, make those big changes, baby. I
There you
love
go.
that.
I do. Yeah, and I made a lot more connections. Lisa's become one of my best friends, but I've made other connections with people there too. So yeah, Sean reaches out to me to uh, promote this, which I'm happy to do. So so yeah. So what are you doing to prepare for this role?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm definitely going back to the gym.
Mhm.
I'm actually taking circus training courses. Those start this week, just like basic tumbling and things like that. But um, I definitely physically need to be in a certain space in order to perform on a regular basis. The show is so physically taxing. Um, Also, I mean, like vocal exercises every day, uh, getting out, just getting a lot of exercise and really making sure that I'm like investing in my instruments. Sean's doing little tweaks here and there, so we might have some dramaturgy meetings to just like zhuzh the piece up a bit, which I'm really excited for. Not that it needs zhuzhing, like I think Sean's a genius.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, and just really investing in my instruments. I'm subscribed to the Criterion Collection, so I'm like slowly like working back for like Nosferatu and like all these kind of like old movies to really get into the
The
kind of
the
historical
cabinet
atmosphere a little
the
bit.
the cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, I love it.
Okay, add it to my list.
Yeah, that to me was one of the best silent movies I ever seen.
Okay,
Yep. Yep,
very cool.
I think it was 1920 that came out. It blew my mind when I saw that in my history of film class.
I was gonna say you're not that old. 1920? I don't believe you.
19
Unless you're a vampire. In which case,
1920,
well
yeah,
done.
that's when that movie came out. Nosferatu came out in 1922, the first rendition of that.
I didn't realize that. Oh, so Caligari is older.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay. I'll definitely have to look it up.
Yep.
I love that stuff so much. Like the ways that people were able to communicate a story. Fascinating.
Yep.
So fascinating. And the physical, I mean, like the physical capabilities, like Charlie Chaplin, all those films, just mind blowing. The things that he could do with his body. I don't even know
Ever see
how.
Buster Keaton?
Yes.
I recommend checking out Sherlock Jr. for Buster Keaton.
Okay.
The stuff he did in that,
Hmm.
a very funny movie. And for Charlie Chaplin, I think his best was City Lights.
Okay.
City Lights, because it's the first time words appear on screen in a silent movie, but they're not there for us so much as they are to meaning to the film itself.
Oh, fascinating. Okay.
The words I can see now. Those words carry some very heavy meaning when they appear on screen. They're not just there for us to read and follow along.
Cool. So it's like a completely kind of different way of storytelling. Innovative.
Yeah,
All
like
right.
Chaplin in the film plays the tramp,
Mm-hmm.
and he gets mixed up with two people. One is a flower girl, a blind flower girl.
Mm-hmm.
The blind flower girl is sheltered by her mom. They have a good relationship, but the blind flower girl, she sells flowers. That's why she's a flower girl.
Mm-hmm.
She has a shop, and Chaplin, being the tramp, likes the fact that she can't see him, so she doesn't know what he really looks like. That he's really the street bum. The other person he gets mixed up with is a rich guy that happens just to get intoxicated every night. He runs into Chaplin. And he's like, he takes Chaplin back to his house, big mansion. Wakes up the next day when he's all sober and he kicks Chaplin out. That happens more than once.
Oh.
But Chaplin is trying to find a way to raise money so that the flower girl can get a surgery done so she can see.
You're gonna make me cry just describing this.
And he does a lot of funny things that don't pan out.
Mm-hmm.
But on a last ditch effort, when this rich guy takes him back to his place, when he gets kicked out the next time, he takes some of the rich guy's money. He gives it to the flower girl. Then he turns himself in. Some time passes. Finally, he gets let out of jail. And he's wandering the streets in his Chaplin outfit.
Mm-hmm.
The flower girl is running the flower store with her mom. She can see. And she sees Chaplin outside the window. And she's amused by him.
Mhm.
and she goes outside and she wants to give him a flower, but he knows who she is,
Yes.
and he won't go near her. And she's like kind of surprised that he's so shy, and she wants to give him a flower because she's kind. And she reaches out and she gets hold of his hand, and there's a close up of her hand going like this. And Chaplin's just kind of like this, and the words come up that she says, "I can see now." You know what
I'm,
the words mean.
I'm seriously like tearing up. That's so. Oh God.
Great movie. I think it's Chaplin's masterpiece. And he made it after the talking pictures started too. Yeah, 1931 that one came out. The talkies started, I think, in 1927.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
But with the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari,
Hmm.
one thing that makes that great, the sets look great. But
Mm.
everything is not what it appears.
Oh, I'm
And
excited. Okay.
and that is what is so great about it.
Hmm.
What happens at the beginning of the movie and where the movie ends is almost a complete flip on our expectations.
Ooh, cool.
I Cabinet the Dr. Caligari was a masterpiece. And for Buster Keaton, Sherlock Jr., one of the things that that movie did, there has a moment where he falls asleep and he's dreaming because he wants this girl. And when he's dreaming, he ends up falling into the movie screen, so he's in all of these scenes.
Oh, that's brilliant.
But there's one scene where he's being pursued, and um, I don't know how it happens. I don't know whether it was a clothesline or something outside, but he jumps out the window to escape, and he ends up with these women's clothes.
So he probably, yeah, like a clothesline, and it's
Or
just like that
something of
cartoon
that
thing where he like jumps into a pair of underwear or something.
something of that nature. It was so funny, and you know, stuff like that is great. I there's a lot of great stuff like that, and I think that's kind of what Sean is tapping into with Slaughterhouse, if I may say so, at least from what my vantage point is.
Definitely. I mean, yeah, it's really interesting hearing you kind of talk about it. And I mean, like when you were talking about Caligari and how like it nothing is what it appears and it all ends up kind of backwards from what you expect by the end of the
Hmm.
film. I feel like Slaughter Brothers is a lot like that, where you walk into the show and you think it's one thing and we sell you that it's one thing, and then it becomes something completely otherworldly that you don't necessarily imagine that they would go together, and it just kind of like blossoms into this complete other world, basically.
Oh, I think Cabinet of Dr. Caligari will blow your mind.
I'm excited. I think you're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, it is something. When you look at the characters in the first half of the film and you see them in the second half of the film, it's like, oh my goodness, this is what's really going on.
Hmm.
So I enjoyed that. I saw that in my history of film class back in 2000 when I took some film courses. So yeah, brilliant stuff.
I love it.
Another one too I would recommend is Metropolis.
Oh, yes, I have seen that one.
Yeah.
Metropolis is stunning.
Mm-hmm.
Just mind-blowing. And
Fritz Lang. Yep.
it's so fascinating to me like especially now with like CGI and the things that we can do inside of the world of filmmaking. But I find older films, the way that the magic is like tactile in a way that
Mm-hmm.
it's not in modern films, and I find it so much more affecting in older films because they had to figure out how to do it, and it's like going to a magic show or something. Like it feels like you're seeing it in person in a way as opposed to on a screen,
Mm-hmm.
like that it's happening to you as opposed to you're watching it happen.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Like I grew up on, old school like movie musicals and things like that. Like that was kind of, so not quite the 20s. Um, but there's a, what is it? The Midsummer Night's Dream. There's this really famous black and white version of Midsummer Night's Dream, and I still like, I think of the fairy scenes, like the scenes where the fairies appear and how Oberon comes out of a tree stump and you don't even know that he's there. And that was made in I mean, it's black and white, and I think it was made in the early 30s. And it's just so magical. It's so magical in a way that I don't experience at the cinema in modern theaters. It's just, yeah. I do
Yeah.
feel that Slaughter Brothers is kind of like playing in that landscape, but in a live theater space. Like the world the world breaks down around you and the characters break down around you, and it just becomes really, really like, yeah, very tactile, very in your face. um and it's all just like physicality and character choices and lights and set design, and Lynn's doing the costumes, and it's just it's the way that everything adds up together. I'm I hope that you end up being able to come to Toronto to see it, because I think you'll really get a kick out of it. And I'd love to talk to you about the ways in which my research that has been recommended by you possibly informs certain things moving forward. We'll see. But I
Well,
kind of have a feeling it will.
if I don't make it to it, like I plan to attend two cons this October. So I'll see if we can meet up when I'm there at some point.
I would love that.
Yeah. Yeah, we could meet at a restaurant or something.
Or we could go catch a movie at the Review Cinema.
We could do that. We could do that. I would like that. Yep, we could do
That'd be
that.
great.
Yeah. So do you get to wear the red nose?
I do not. At least not at this moment in time. Um, it's interesting. I've never really done a lot of clown work, and the nose is so specific inside of clown and the world of clown and the creation of the character that like I don't think I would feel comfortable wearing the red nose. Like the red nose is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that because of Lynn and Sean, and because of Tim Walker, who's also on this project and is an amazing clown, does amazing work. Like his Lotsies, the first time I saw his Lotsie, like we all lost it in the room for like 2 hours straight. It was just like Tim like figuring out how to pull handkerchiefs out of strange places and really like beautifully grotesque ways, because it takes clown and that kind of like never-ending handkerchief shtick and then twists it around a little bit so it becomes like kind of dark and gross, but is also still very funny. It's amazing. But I know for a fact, like I am too scared to wear the nose. I would definitely too scared to wear the nose.
I am dying to, just by your sense of humor, to bring up a charity challenge. Speaking of clowns, to you, do you have any charities that you're involved with?
um I mean, I contribute to Planned Parenthood regularly, things like
Mm-hmm.
that. I was a Girl Scout and things like that. So I don't have any that I'm like closely associated with at the moment, but I'm always on the lookout. I do a lot of work in disability arts and things like that. So,
Well, I have a charity challenge. I didn't start it, but after Robin Williams left us, One came out for suicide and depression awareness,
Hmm.
and it was called the Doubtfire Face Challenge. It was kind of a follow-up to the Ice Bucket Challenge. But the Doubtfire Face Challenge, it involves you taking a pie in the face and you nominate 3 people. And I wonder if you,
100%. I'm on board. Let's do it.
yeah, I would love to get you on the, I've had a number of my guests do this. In fact, I just had somebody from Halloween 4 say that she's up for it.
Mhm.
But I have a few of my guests that have done it. Um, uh, Sandy Johnson from Halloween did it, and her husband was dressed up as Michael Myers, and he put the pie in her face. It was funny. It was hilarious.
That's very good.
Nancy McLaughlin was in Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. She did it in front of props from the movie, and Lisa Langlois did it, of course, and I have a few people from the wrestling community do it.
Are you a wrestling fan?
Not anymore.
Okay.
I like wrestling from the 70s and 80s.
Yep.
Yep, but I had Roddy Piper's son and daughter on the show, and I'm still in touch with his daughter because she's hilarious. She's a wrestler now, but
Oh, cool.
I got her on my birthday a couple of years ago to do the Doubtfire Face Challenge. Oh, I had to ask her, but she did it. Um, James Ellsworth did it. He's a wrestler. Tori Wilson did it. You know, who else? Michael Levy, who was in Terrifier, he did it. Oh, I've had various other people do it. So, yeah.
I'd love to.
Oh, yeah. Okay. We should schedule a Zoom for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can do that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're up for that. But I couldn't help because she kept mentioning the clown thing. And I'm like, she's got to set that. I got to ask her.
100%.
Okay.
Let's do it for
Absolutely.
sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I wanted to bring up because I looked at your IMDb
Mhm,
and you've done a little bit of television, some short films,
mhm.
and I don't watch television. I got my TV set up so I could watch my Blu-rays. So I'm not familiar with your work in these, but I did notice some interesting pictures from a short film called Chicken.
Yes. Yes, I actually wrote and produced that, and then Lynn was actually in it.
Was she the chicken?
No, she was not the chicken.
Was
There
was she the hen?
I mean, she's the mama hen.
Is
She is, yeah,
Sean
she
the
always is.
rooster?
There wasn't a rooster actually.
No?
Missed opportunity.
Oh well. So do you answer the question came first, the chicken or the egg?
Oh, what came? It's such an existential question. I mean, I don't know if I'm really prepared to,
You
to
you
mine
you
that
you you
today.
didn't deep dive into that in your short film? Your film wasn't long enough for that?
I mean, we could be here for the next 6 years or so asking ourselves these questions. I did, when I was a kid, I had a pet chicken because I
Mhm.
grew up on a farm, and I had a pet chicken named Sunny, and Sunny was obsessed with Doritos. So the only way, and she was a pet insofar as she loved Doritos, and so the only way that Sunny would come to me when I called her if I had Doritos, and only Doritos. She didn't like any other kind of chip. It was just
What
Doritos.
kind of Doritos? Like
It
any
was the regular flavor. She liked the cheesy Doritos. But she wasn't like Cool Ranch, not her jam, not her style. Sunny was a classic, classy kind of gal, classy kind of chick.
Okay. Chicken that eats Doritos.
Hmm.
Okay. I share that taste.
You enjoy, well, what is your favorite flavor of Dorito, though?
Probably zesty cheese.
Fair.
But you know what? They've got ketchup, they've got barbecue, they got ranch.
They have ketchup Doritos now? Where
Oh
have I
yeah.
been?
Oh yeah, they have them. Oh yeah.
How did they stack up to ketchup chips? Because ketchup chips were an absolute like moment in my life when I moved to Canada. I ketchup chips are brilliant. I love a ketchup chip, and it's one of the best things about being in
Ketchup
like.
chips was my favorite chip. Here's the thing though, with chips, they have all that air in the bag.
Mhm.
Whereas with Doritos, I find there's more in there.
Fair. So you feel
Yeah.
like you get more bang for your buck with a Dorito.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep. That's why I prefer Dorito.
But
Yep.
ketchup Doritos, so like from a textural perspective, they're going to be different, right? So like how do they stack up? Like you prefer the ketchup Doritos just because there's more in the bag?
Oh yeah, but they taste fine.
Okay.
Yeah. And now I
I'm
don't
gonna
know if
have
I
to.
don't know if your chicken would like them.
I mean, I'd have to dig her up to ask her. She's been in the ground a long time. I don't think
Yeah.
that'd be very pretty.
You're not going to do like a Norman Bates thing and have like chicken in the fruit cellar?
No, no, we didn't do that with Sunny. Um, although we did have sheep, and so oh, sorry, my give me 1 second. My computer's running out of juice, and I don't want to lose you.
Yeah, you got to plug that in.
Yep, Dunzo. So we did have sheep that my parents would butcher, and then we'd tan the hides. And my brother, I
Did
have
you
a younger
count?
brother.
Did you count them at night?
The sheep, not the dead ones. No, that's a good way to give yourself nightmares. But when I was a kid, my brother had one of these tanned sheep hides on his bed that he called by the name of the sheep, like that it was before it was on his bed. And it was like his security blanket. So he would like when he would get upset, he's like, I want my Fiona, which was the sheepskin on his bed. It was just a little like that little level of like zombie sheep. Just grown up on a farm. Specific things. So we didn't have any zombie chickens, but we did have zombie sheep, kind of. Well, a quarter of one.
Did you have any sheep named Sean?
No, this was pre Shaun the Sheep. Although I do love Shaun the Sheep. Wallace and Gromit forever. I love the Were Rabbit. That's my favorite, I think, of theirs.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah, I thought it was super cute.
So did you have a dog like that?
A dog like Gromit?
Yeah.
I wish. Oh my gosh, our dog when I was a kid was so dumb. It was the
Mhm.
dumbest dog that ever lived. I loved him to pieces, but he was dumb as a bag of hammers. Just
It sounds like some of the political candidates out there.
I mean, if Toby had run for office, I'm sure he would have gotten, pretty far considering
Mm-hmm.
how some of the people operate in politics these days.
How are things COVID wise in Toronto right now? Are you guys starting to open up?
Yeah, it's pretty open here. I mean, I still wear a mask most places that I go just because there are lots of people in my life who are older or have compromised immune systems.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like you can go to the grocery store and you don't have to you're not required to wear a mask. Um, and yeah, things are pretty much open and running like normal again, really. What about you?
I've been going back to the movie theater since July 2020.
Mhm.
We got kind of the jump on it here,
Mhm.
but uh no, I remember I went to Toronto last year for Frightmare in the Falls, and Lisa and I went to a Halloween street party down on what street was that on? I forget what street it was on. On my YouTube channel, I did some video on it though. And there's all street was blocked off and people are out in it. Didn't bother me any.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I love those block parties. Toronto's pretty good for those. Like was it like in Little Italy? They just shut down all of College Street once a year, and there's this huge festival, and it's a lot of fun. Um, I would assume it's happening this year, but
Okay.
I guess we'll see. I
Okay.
don't I don't put stock in much of anything these days. You always have to be ready to pivot and do something else.
Well, talk about some of the film and television that you've been involved in.
Sure.
Like what stands out? You got some you'll have to whet my appetite on these. You got Call Me Fitz and Pretty and Geek.
Uh, Pretty and Geek was a web series that I did about girls who play D&D.
Are you
Uh,
one of them?
I did play D&D for a while when I was younger. I do have a friend. We've been
Now
talking.
D&D means Dumb and Dumber, right?
Oh, you just struck me right in my soul. Oh, ow, ow. Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, Dungeons and Dragons. That was gonna be my second guess.
Oh, ow.
So you don't play a game that involves Jim Carrey spiking people's coffee with a laxative.
I haven't lately.
That's not how the game plays.
I mean,
You don't play a game of trying to return a briefcase.
just how would you okay, so how would you actually play that game? Let's think this through for a sec. Like, first I need a van covered in fur,
Uh-huh.
right?
Well, Sean Sullivan will have that covered, I imagine.
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously. Sean's got one in his backyard. Like what?
I bet you he does. I bet he
Everyone
does.
in the film and television industry does, darling.
Hmm.
It's just one of those things. Um Now I have to ask him. I'll be very disappointed if he doesn't actually. Be like, but Greg told me that you would
So
have one.
during the D&D game, there's a scene where the toilet's plugged and then they have to throw it out the window. I'm just saying how this D&D game works.
Dungeons and Dragons? Have you never played Dungeons and Dragons?
Oh, I
Gotta be
thought
kidding
about
me.
the other one.
Oh, okay.
About making a cop drink beer bottles full of urine.
I mean, if you can make that happen, I would totally watch that happen. I don't know.
That'd be a good D&D game.
I think that's more of a LARPing thing.
Yeah.
We'd have to go out into the real world. Yeah, so I did a web series about girls who play D&D. Call Me Fitz was my first kind of big project, and it was 5 episodes of an HBO Canada television show starring Jason Priestley. So
Okay.
that was huge for me. Like it was my first professional film and TV gig, and I got to fly out to outside of Halifax. So they flew me back and forth, which just made me feel like a movie star. It was very exciting. And Jason directed one of the episodes that I was in. It was a really, really cool experience for sure. And then I did 2 episodes of Murdoch, which I love Murdoch. Like Everyone over at Shakespeare is so lovely. I got very lucky and ended up being able to sub in after those episodes and read a couple of scripts. So I got to read a script with Colin Mockery, which was like, I could barely speak. I was supposed to be there like reading for someone else who couldn't make it to the script reading. And Colin was in the room and I was just like, this is so cool.
So when are we gonna see you in an episode of the Trailer Park Boys or Letterkenny?
I mean, if you want to make those connections happen, baby, I will make you happy. I will be all over that.
See, Bubbles needs a love interest, you know.
I mean, I would not say no. I would not say no for that's for sure. Um,
You'd
yeah,
have
I don't
you'd
know.
have to wear the glasses.
Oh, I've worn glasses my whole life. I have terrible eyesight. I've got glasses down pat.
You
I've
wear
got glasses
glasses like
face.
you got glasses like Bubbles.
No, not quite like Bubbles. Not quite that level of glasses. But, you know, I could bump it up a notch or two.
Yeah. So you got what is a short, or let me see. Let me see. Just says post production. Does it say what it is? You play Penny in If.
Yes, that was a funny. I don't know if that I don't know if that piece is finished.
What is
Um
it? Is it a feature?
yes, it's a feature. I think that was before I joined the union. So it was a feature film, a kind of an indie feature film, very fantastical, kind of like falling in and out of dreamscapes. It was a really cool project. I'm in it for like 5 seconds. I sat in a boat.
Well, you only in it for 5 seconds.
Um,
You're like, well, the top 3 build on IMDb for it.
well, I think there's only like 3 characters in the film, so or maybe there was a few more. Anyhow, it's been in post production for a decade, I think, at this point. So sometimes them's the breaks, right? There's just projects that like they'll go places, and there are projects that sometimes don't, and that's okay. People make different choices, leave the industry or move on to other things. I'm just lucky, honestly, that Sean's making Slaughter happen, like been so determined to make Slaughter Brothers happen, because I would be completely heartbroken if we never got to do this show. The radio play was fun, but like I really want to sink my teeth into this show, and hopefully it's gonna actually happen. I'm very, very lucky in that regard that Sean is so laser focused.
You know what? I remember he wanted to get that off the ground before COVID hit, because I knew about this project, what, 2, 3 years ago when I had he and Lynn on. I think it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I don't know when he announced that. And so I knew COVID had, of course, threw a monkey wrench and everything. Of course, I worked through it, but still.
I mean, thank you for working through it. That must have been quite scary at certain points for you.
No, Skittles had my back. Skittles
Just
had my back.
yeah, I'm sure. But
Yeah, yeah.
thank you. Like I don't know. I was pretty freaked out. Like people dropping left, right, and center, and you just kept doing your job. Thank you for that. That's really
I worked a lot by myself. I work a lot around a lot of people at the hospital right now, but I'm getting paid better money, so I'm like, fine. I have to get suited up and all that stuff to go in the COVID rooms, but
yeah.
yep, but
Oof, that must be intense.
no, actually, I'm not really that bothered.
I love how nonchalant you are. You're just like, yeah, whatever. You know, I just do my job.
I don't know. It's um maybe I'm stubborn, but I don't know. I suit up. put the face shield on and my mask and all that stuff, and I get robed up and I go in, gloves on, and
Make it happen.
yep. I mean, I only have to do that for the isolation rooms, you know. I have one of them today, you know, but there were three of us that went in there, and we got that knocked that out of the park quite quickly. So, yep, I feel fine. Yep.
More power to you.
I
Like,
feel
seriously.
I feel even better with you on here.
Aw.
Here you go.
Thank you. No, this
Yeah.
has been a real highlight of my day for sure. It's been like it's lovely talking to you, and I'm so happy that this happened. And thank you for working with my schedule as well, and that you were able to fit it into your schedule.
You
Like it
know
just kind
what?
of aligned really nicely.
I'm casual at the hospital, so which means I'm mostly on call.
Hmm.
Yesterday, my hours were in the book. Today, I got called, and Friday, I did an all-nighter. Oh, I love doing those because I can schedule my podcast easy. I do all-nighters all the time if I could.
Really?
Yes,
Oh,
because
I like sleep too much, yo.
I can sleep during the day. I'll go tell you something. There's something nice, especially in a cold winter day, cold winter morning, getting done work. Everybody's rushing out to get their coffee to wake up. I'm going to go on my car into the cold, and I'm going to come into my apartment, get a nice hot shower, grab Skittles, crawl on into bed, and I'm just gonna sleep. There's something about that that's just nice, you know? And
Oh, with like the snow falling outside and the
yep,
light kind of filtering through the curtains. That sounds so cozy.
but I'll tell you, working at night, like I worked a few 11 to 7 in the mornings, and doesn't I told them, I said, if you guys got more of these, give them to me, because not many people will work those.
Hmm.
I will, because it makes it easy for me to schedule my podcast interviews.
I don't know how you. I
After
mean, that's dedication.
I'm done talking to you, I got a couple of musicians out of Moncton who I was connected with out of somebody from Toronto, actually. And I've been trying to book them for over a month. Um, I had about 3 Sundays ago, I got called into work. I had to reschedule 3 interviews,
Whoa.
and I was able to. So far, I got 2 of them done, and the third one I'm going to do later on. And people have been pretty good because they know what kind of job I do. So, but I don't say no when they ask, because I don't want them to stop calling me.
Yeah, it's
You
that fine
know.
line of like, well, gotta
Plus,
make it work.
yeah. So if I can move up into a position where my hours are guaranteed,
Mhm.
then I'm in a good spot. So yeah, I'm glad that we were able to work this out, and finally able to get you on here and hear about the chicken and the egg and the chicken that eats Doritos. And
So many chickens. I
yeah,
don't know what it is about chickens.
well, I've interviewed a woman named Genevieve Rossi who just did a movie called Attack of the Killer Chickens.
That sounds amazing. Are they like 50 feet tall? I
I
want
don't
them.
know. I haven't seen it, but it's gonna premiere at some point here. So
Well, because chickens are also related to T Rex, right? Like they had a common ancestor. So I have this theory that all chickens remember being a T Rex, like somewhere in their tiny little brains. Like they would be vicious if they were just a couple feet bigger. But instead,
well, there's cassowaries in Australia. That's pretty vicious.
I've never have you ever seen one in person?
No. but I've seen
Australia's a
what they
beautiful
could
place.
do.
I mean, just about everything in Australia can kill you, though. That's
Hmm.
basically the only thing I know about that place. Is
Oh
that
yeah,
everything can kill you.
they got the taipan snake. They say it has enough venom in its body to kill 23,000 mice.
I'm probably 23,000 mice. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
I'm probably less. Am I less than? That's a question I've never thought to ask myself. How many mice am I?
There's also they got the box jellyfish, which don't want to get touched by one of those.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and don't you? How far is Fredericton? Is Fredericton? Excuse
No,
me.
we're not near Australia.
Oh, I did fail geography several times over. No, it's near. Is it near the water? Fredericton's on the water. Am I making that up?
I got water here.
But it's on the water. So Fredericton's somewhere here. Here? No.
I don't know. You don't know where New Brunswick is?
I grew up in the U.S. and like there's so much
Well,
kind of
they
US.
definitely don't know where we are.
I don't know where anything in Canada is. Like I didn't learn anything about Canadian geography at all in this. Like
You know
I
how
know
many?
a little bit, obviously. I know places that I've been.
Yeah, I'm an hour ahead of you.
Yes, I know that much. You're
Yeah,
in the future.
I'm in the future.
Yep. How's it
Yeah.
looking?
Skittles is here.
Well, then the future's bright.
Future bright. There might be chickens that eat Doritos.
I would love to have a pet chicken again someday.
Yeah.
But I want one of those enormous ones that's like 3 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then ideally I would have a smaller bird that could ride the chicken. That's like my dreamscape. Is
Yeah.
like a pet parrot or a cockatoo that like rode on the back of the chicken. I don't know why. But that's where my brain's at right now. So now it's gonna happen.
So tell me about Bad Appetite. You play a goose?
Yes. um Bad Appetite was a short film that a friend of mine, Jen Krakowski, wrote and directed. And it's a short comedy about a goose and a bear that meet up in a park and try to decide where to go for lunch. And they can't choose because they're too Canadian to make a choice. They're too polite to make the choice. So they just sit there, and then the goose eventually starves to death and the bear eats her. It was a really fun day. I got covered in blood. And I had like this like little like capelet. It was so ridiculous. It was very hipster. It was very, very funny.
Okay.
Everything I do is a little off kilter. Like pretty much everything I do as a performer or a writer, there's always a little something. I'm a specific casting, I guess.
What about the Good Witch?
Good Witch, one of my few normal roles. I was a preschool teacher or kindergarten teacher. And
Oh, I'm not buying that. That's a stretch I'm not buying.
kids love me. What are you talking about? I get on great with kids. Because
Yeah.
kids are little weirdos. Like before we teach them how to be normal, they're all weirdos. We get on awesome. Yeah, so I had just like a 1 day shoot on Good Witch. And yeah, really nice set, really nice crew. The weird thing about that stuff is like you show up on set, you have one scene or maybe two, and then you leave. And everyone's really nice and kind, and you have these really like fun little interactions with people, and then you never see them again. That's the one thing that I love about theater versus film and TV is that in theater you spend so much time with your cohort, with your coworkers, and you really like Slaughter Brothers Dime Circus. It really does feel like well, like a family in a lot of ways, like especially because we've been inside of it now off and on for 5 years. Um, we're all just so deeply invested in each other's journeys and supporting each other and like off stage as well as on. So, I'm just you're really lucky. Like you luck out when you end up with good people, and it's awful when you don't get on with people. But for the most part, I'm pretty easy to get on with.
I think so. I'm having fun talking to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. That was
Yeah,
definitely a leading statement, and you took the bait.
I
I
took the
appreciate
bait.
you.
I took the bait. When would you like to schedule your Doubtfire Face challenge?
um, I'm gonna say the most solid bet would be to schedule it after June 15th because I am also in production for another project at this moment in
Mm-hmm.
time. We start work tomorrow because we
Does it
got
involve chickens and Doritos?
no, this one involves interdimensional performance artists. And so it's called the Intangible Adorations Caravan.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a project based on the work of Lisa Anita Wagner, who's a performance artist in Toronto. And her cohort, the Salon, she works inside of the disability art scene. And so we've become contracted. My collective, Other Hearts, is on board. So I'm costume designing and I'm also in the show. We've helped kind of create this piece and it's a pop-up performance. So we have a trailer and the trailer goes to different places in the city and conjures the icon, which is like, she's kind of like, yeah, like Bowie, kind of Bowie-esque kind of character from another world who was a human at one point and then went to a different dimension. Um, and it's also kind of circus oriented. We have an amazing silks performer, Erin Ball, who's a double amputee, and she's doing some incredible silk work in it. There's going to be tumbling, and um, yeah, it's a really really neat project. So I will be inside of that world until June 15th when we
Okay,
open, and then I have performances once a week. So after that, we could do like, is does that work for you?
sure.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Yep. As
So
long as
like
you
mid-June.
mid-June.
I love it.
Yeah. And then you could do the Doubtfire challenge.
Definitely.
Yep. You
I'm
ever take
excited. I've actually never taken a pie to the face before. I've done all sorts of things, but pie in the face, not one of them. So that's another thing to like check off the bucket list.
it's not that bad.
No, I'm excited. I loved Mrs. Doubtfire. Like that Robin Williams. I mean, quintessential like Hook is probably my favorite of his films. Like I grew up obsessing over Hook.
My favorite of his films is 1 Hour Photo.
Oh, he is so creepy in that. It's
Mm-hmm.
incredible.
Yep.
I it's mind blowing. I cannot watch it ever again
I
because
love that
like
film.
growing up, he was like my dad. Like that kind of like like when you're a kid and you're like, oh, like he's everybody's movie dad, right? Which is
I
why he was
like
so
the
perfect in Mrs. Doubtfire.
I like the birdcage.
Oh yes, brilliant in the Birdcage.
yeah.
Brilliant. I mean, and like Dead Poet Society. Ugh, just hand me the box of tissues now. Like I mentioned it, I'm gonna cry.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant, brilliant performer. It was
Oh yeah.
so, yeah. I was really devastated when he checked out. But so I'm very very excited for the Mrs. Doubtfire challenge.
Well, great. Looking forward to having you do it. Anything else you want to plug and promote on here before we close off?
I mean, I think we've covered most things. I am really hopeful that you'll be able to make it to Toronto, fingers crossed, to see Slaughter Brothers. Yeah, it's I mean 5 years in the making and just gonna be like I think yeah.
I hope to. with my job, with my job being what it is, I'm hoping I'm able to take the time off. I know there's a couple times in October I'm going down there for cons,
Well, and
so
we'll definitely meet up in October then if you don't make it out for Slaughter Brothers. But
yeah.
thank you so much, especially for supporting this project. It's a project that's really close to my heart, and I'm really excited about it. And yeah, I'm just so thrilled to have had the opportunity to chat with you today, too.
Well, you know what? First off, what a great poster for Slaughter Brothers Dime Circus, because I remember I asked Sean, I said, "Who's the gorgeous woman on the poster?"
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I was a bit smitten. You're beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
You're
You're so
welcome.
sweet.
You're
I
welcome.
thank you.
Yep. But you're also funny, so hey. Yeah, I don't uh you would have to be a keeper for any guy that wants a chicken that can eat Doritos.
I mean, maybe that's my, I'm that's my retirement plan. So if you're, anybody out there who's like on board with the chicken farm where you just feed chickens Doritos, like the petting zoo, I guess, maybe we could have a capybara too, and some snakes.
A capybara. There you go.
Oh, they're amazing.
Now your dog, does he eat Doritos? I like how he's just looming there in the background, like,
Yeah.
oh, it's paranormal activity back here.
She just levitates every once in a while, into frame, out of frame, into frame, out of frame.
Does he eat Doritos?
uh, she loves her
Oh,
cheese.
okay.
I don't know if I don't know if I've ever tried her on Doritos, actually. I'm sure she would, because I would imagine she would be in the cheese camp as well. Um, the cheesy Doritos
There
camp.
you go.
But I mean, if inquiring minds want to know, now I need to find out. Now I need to go to the grocery store and buy every kind of Dorito and have a taste test with my dog.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I miss Toronto. I can't wait to get back there. I plan to do Horrorama and Frightmare in the Falls this fall. So those are my plans. So hopefully that all works out. But I miss Toronto, and I love it there, and it's always a great experience for me. So yeah, I'd love to meet you when I go down there.
Definitely, let's make it happen.
We can make that happen.
All right,
We
I
can
like
make
that
that
plan.
happen. Yeah. Before I let you go, I'd love a plug for my show.
Sure.
Just state your name and say you're listening to Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise.
Hi, I'm Silvae Mercedes, and you're listening to Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise.
Yes, and we will see Silvae Mercedes in the Slaughter Brothers Dime Circus.
It just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Slaughter Brothers Dime Circus, Slaughter Brothers Dime Circus.
Yeah, but why only a dime?
Well, the rest of the attractions in the circus are like I'm the main attraction. No.
Yes, I would
Well,
say so. But why not the Slaughter
don't tell
Brothers?
Lynn that. Are you kidding me? No.
Why not the Slaughter Brothers Looney Circus?
I mean, missed opportunity. You'll have to call that to Sean's attention.
And then if they want to do another one, they could call the Slaughter Brothers Toonie Circus.
We are all Looney Tunes over there. It's very true.
Well, it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. And from what I've seen, this looks great. And I told Sean that I would definitely promote it when I do my live show, which I'm supposed to do tonight, but I'm not going to be able to do it tonight because, well, I got a couple interviews and it's not all the time with my job being what it is where I get to sneak them in here. So I looked forward to chatting with you today, and I'm glad we're able to make this work. And I they define it what delightful human being you are. So there you go.
Thank you. Right back at you, Greg. I really had such a fun time chatting with you today. So thank you so much.
Yep. And then sometime in mid-June or so, we'll plan your Doubtfire Face challenge. And next year, I'm gonna put you on my list for 2023 to have back.
Ooh, a
Yeah.
repeat performance. I love it.
Well, you never know. You could have some more projects out. There are projects in the making, and I love having people back, you know?
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Especially when they're as lovely as you are.
Aww. I
Yeah.
already said I'd come back. You don't have to lay it on so thick. I mean, you can, but like,
See, Skittles, this is how you Skittles says he only answers to treats.
aw. Try Doritos. I hear they're great. Everybody likes Doritos. I
Yes.
hope you get a sponsorship from Doritos out of this.
Well, yeah, absolutely. They should put Doritos in chicken feed. Mix it in there, you know? Be like trail mix, only Doritos.
I mean, that would make for some tasty chickens, that's for sure.
There you go. Oh, anyway, Sylvie, it was so much fun having you on here today, and you're an absolute delight. And yeah, we'll meet up in Toronto, and hey, maybe we might even go to the Starving Artist restaurant. That we could do that.
Waffles for everyone.
Yeah, or if you want to catch a movie, we could do that too.
Well, I mean, I'm definitely gonna check out those recommendations that you made to me. So thank you so much for that. I'm really excited.
Absolutely, absolutely. Check those out. The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, for Buster Keaton, Sherlock Jr., and for Charlie Chaplin, City Lights.
I definitely will. You're expanding my educational opportunities as we speak. I love it.
Yep. And if you really want to think, watch The Room.
Just for giggles. Just throw it in. That is an interesting four.
Did you see The Room?
The four corners of cinema. No.
That was my first guest, was Tommy Wiseau from The Room.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They call it the greatest bad film ever made. James
Okay.
Franco played him in The Disaster Artist.
Oh. Oh. Okay.
Yeah,
Huh.
that will give you an idea.
Wow.
There
Well,
you go.
I have four more films on my list. Keep them coming.
I apologize immediately for the last one. And then, of course, there's always this
Oh, yes. Well, I mean, classic.
Black Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Lim will love that we're showing this off. I hope they do T-shirts. Slaughter Brothers Dine Circus.
I don't. That's a great idea, actually. I'll definitely mention it to them. I don't know if that's in the cards at the moment, but it definitely could be.
There you go.
And I know who gets the first one. Chick chick.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
I'll take the first one. Well, you have yourself a wonderful day. Thank you so much for coming on here. It has been a delight. So
It's been an absolute pleasure, Greg. Thank you so, so much. I really appreciate it. And I learned a lot today.
yeah,
And
you
I
learn.
definitely look forward to seeing you in October, if not before.
You know what? We'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can make happen. So I'm
Okay.
working on it. I'm
You keep
working
me
on it.
posted.
Absolutely. God bless you.
You too. Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye.